Okay, so 3.1, we're going to go into specific of quadratic functions. And so we're going to look into more details on finding each part of the quadratic function, basically the vertex, axis of symmetry, whether it opens up or down, and then we're going to look at word problems on how to solve for quadratics as well. Okay, so the graph of a quadratic function is called a parabola. And the parabola, you saw the shape of it. It looks something like this, where it opens up. And if it go down like this, then it opens down. All right. The vertex is basically the highest or the lowest point. So if it opens up, then the vertex is right here on the lowest point. This is the highest point. We call this one the relative minimum or absolute minimum. And this point the relative maximum or absolute maximum. Okay. The axis of symmetry, it is a vertical line, okay, where the parabola folds in half. So the axis of symmetry go past the vertex. Okay, so let me write that. Axis of symmetry. Okay, cut the graph in half and passes through the vertex. Okay. All right, so we're going to look at the general form, okay, the standard form of a quadratic. So standard form of a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. So we're going to see this very often, okay? The a is going to go in front of the x squared, the b in front of the x, and the c is our constant. So anytime that we're going to write it in standard form or like this to find a, b, and c, okay? A is always in front of the x squared, okay? So make sure that you be careful with that. So now we're going to look at what's called a vertex form. Okay, and then we're going to look at how to convert from standard form to vertex form. Vertex form looks like this. Okay, where HK is the vertex. So that's the coordinate of the vertex. And what's nice about it is to convert from standard form to vertex form, from standard to vertex. You just have to memorize these two formulas. H is equal to negative b over 2a, and k is equal to f of h. So after you find h, you just plug it into the function to find k. Let's do an example. Let's see if they have one over here. Let's do this one. Okay. Example 1, we have x squared minus 2x minus 8. So as you're doing these, make it a good habit to write down what is a, b, and c is equal to. Okay. Now here you don't see an a, right? So anytime that you don't see a number, it's understood to be 1. B, negative 2. C, negative 8. Make sure you take the sign in front of it. So to find h, that's negative b over 2a. So I'm always going to put this negative up front because that's part of the formula. And whatever b is, you copy that down. Make sure, okay, you write the exact same b you have here. And 2 over 1. So now we can simplify negative times a negative, that's a positive. So positive 2 over 2, that equals 1. To find k, we're going to plug in 1 into f. So this just means evaluate f when x is 1. So 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 8. Simplify it a little bit, and we have negative 9. And that's it. So we have our hk equals 1, negative 9. Now, how do we write this in vertex form? Now, vertex form require us to have what A is, H, and K. Well, that's why I told you to write down what A is equal to. A was 1. So we don't have to write anything if it's just 1, but I'll show you here. 1, x minus H is 1 squared plus negative 9. Now, the reason why I do this plus the negative 9 is just so that you are aware of simplifying after you're done. So 1 minus x minus 1 minus 9. So there is my vertex form. Okay. Once we have that, it's very easy to answer all of these questions here. My vertex is 1, negative 9. Axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is very easy to remember. So axis of symmetry is a vertical line going through the vertex and has equation x equals to h. So what is your h in this example? H is 1. So your axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Okay, so make a note that x equals a number is a vertical line. Okay. All right, so now we can find our y-intercept and x-intercept. These two can be found easy once you have the graph, or you can just try to find it on the using the vertex form. So I'll give you a quick hint on how to find it fairly easily. The y-intercept is equals to the c value. Okay, so what is c? Go back and look. My c value is negative 8. That's it. So our y-intercept is at 0, negative 8. That's super simple, right? Okay, so the x-intercept is not as easy to find. So the x-intercept we have to factor. So let's see how we factor this. So I'll give you about 3 or 4 methods on how to do that. Okay, to find x-intercept, set y equal to 0 and factor. All right, so let's see how we factor this. We have x squared minus 2x minus 8. So this is a simple one because a is 1. So here are the rules. If a is equal to 1, find factors of c such that the sum equals b. I'll give you the hint. The larger factors get sign of b. And I'll explain what that means. So my c is equal to negative 8. So what two numbers can I multiply to get negative 8? Well, let's just worry about the 8 first. So 4 and 2 multiply to get 8. And now we're going to use the hint. The larger factor gets sign of B. So 4 is a larger factor. B is a negative, so that gets negative. That means that I need to make this one a positive to get the sign of negative here. So let's check. Such that the sum is equals to B. Well, if I add these together, negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2, which does equal to B. So that's it. My two factors are negative 4 and positive 2. So how do we write our factors? We put the factors in this form, x minus 4, x plus 2. So there you go. These two are your factors. All right. So how do I double check this? You can do this by foiling. X squared plus 2x minus 4x minus 8. And we can simplify these two. And you can see here we got the same thing. So that is our factor. What do we do with those factors? Set each factor equal to 0 and solve. Okay. Now the reason why this works is using the zero factored property, which states that if two things multiply together to get 0, then one or both of them have to equal to 0. So that's why we factor, so that we can set them equals to 0. Okay, so we have x minus 4, x plus 2 equals 0. We're going to set each one of them equal to 0, and then solve. And these two are your x-intercept. Okay, so let's go back up here. X equals 4 and x equals negative 2. Yep. All right, so now finally, let's graph. All right, to graph this, I'm going to put my x and y intercept in. So 4, negative 2. My x-intercept was, oh, I got it. Y-intercept is negative 8. And it looks like my x vertex is at 1, negative 9. So now I have enough, right? So here I'm going to also sketch the axis of symmetry here. That means that I have an additional point I can use right here because I took this point and I reflect it over to the right. Now you can see I can draw my graph. Now that I have 5 reference points. Okay, what is the domain and range for this now? Nicholas? You hear Nicholas?
Yeah. Or can you hear me?
Don't pay attention. What's the domain?
Is it just negative infinity to positive infinity?
Right. Clayton, what's the range?
The range is -9 to infinity.
Okay, do I include 9 or negative 9?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Perfect timing. It is now 11:20. So I will release you from here. There are some more practice problems. We can go over the practice problem if we need to. But yeah, we'll finish these 2 pages next time. Any questions or concern? Anybody? If not, have a great day. I will see you Wednesday.